Hello, hello. Hi, thank you for being here. My name is Caitlin Michelle, and let's talk life and esoterics. I hope you had a really great week. I did. I did a lot of thinking because I know last week's episode of whatever this is, podcast, radio show, project thing, whatever you want to call this. The last episode last week, I probably sounded very defeated. It's because I felt really defeated. And it kind of goes along with a conversation that I recently had with my friends over at Prism Energy Healing, Ken and Michelle, where anyone really walking this spiritual path called life, where we are all walking it, we will go through these periods of peaks and valleys. And the valleys are just as important and just as informative as the peaks, even though we tend to live for the peaks. That's what we see, for example, on social media, where everyone only posts. Well, it's changed a little bit, I think, but basically, you'll see people posting only the peaks of their lives, the exciting times, what looks good, what feels good to them. But it's the valleys where a lot of our understanding and a lot of our perspective can come from. And in a way, it energizes the peaks. It creates a sort of momentum or a velocity for us to experience the high moments, the epiphanies, the beautiful mystical moments. Actually, you know what? Mystical moments is something that it just kind of came to me a couple days ago as a segment that I can do on here. And I think this would be really fun for anyone who wants to call in and share a recent mystical moment. It could be like wildly profound, or it could be even smaller. But I hesitate to say small because if you have a mystical moment, no matter what it is, it feels amazing. It's mystical. It's magical. It's wonderful. So anyway, I just want to say that now before I forget, because I just said mystical moments. And since this is pre-recorded, I'm not live. If you would like to share any of your mystical moments on this episode, and I'll have this segment in all my episodes going forward, well, you can reach out by email if you want to share it with me. That's hellolifeandesoterics@gmail.com. And in just a couple weeks, I plan on going live, and I'll come back with more information so that if anyone is out there listening, I know last week I was pretty convinced no one was listening, but I know there are a few. So, if you would love to share a mystical moment, I really invite you to, and you can call in a couple weeks. I'll give you the information, and just hold tight. So, and it could be anything, really anything that just feels mystical. And it could be recent, it could be way in the past. You can call in every week with a new one. Yeah. So, I don't know, let's just jump into the mystical moments segment right now. And since this is pre-recorded, it'll only be my sharing, but I really want to hear from you. So, let's see, some recent mystical moments that I have had. Well, I've been reading this book. It's called The Alchemy of Voice. And I have many different feelings that come up about this book. Mostly, it is a way to work with our voice, throat chakra, and releasing a lot of patterning in there. And there are these exercises in it, and they're just simple breathing exercises. And I was doing one of these very simple breathing exercises. I was laying down as the exercise tells us to do, and I was looking up at the ceiling. And with each breath, I was watching the colors change from a purple to a yellow to a red to a blue back to purple. And I was wondering, as I was watching this happen with each breath, am I seeing the space between the space? You know, how most of what is matter is mostly space, 99.9999999% of space. It just occurred to me as I'm watching these colors with each breath, I could be seeing the energies of my own aura, or it could be the energies of so many different entities, spirit, souls, consciousnesses that I'm not even aware of, but exist within the space between every single atom. So I think that would be an example of one of those small mystical moments. Sorry if you can hear my son knocking on the door. He's being watched. Yeah. So if you have any mystical moments that you would like to share, please let me know. Again, you can email me and let me know if you would like me to share it. Share the email, whatever you do share, or if you just want to keep it private. I will respect your wishes any way that you choose. So that's hello, life, and esoterics@gmail.com. And you could also, if you want it to be more public, you can also leave it as a message on any of the platforms that you're listening on. Spreaker, Blog Talk Radio, YouTube, Facebook, iTunes, Spotify, wherever there's a message option, you can share it there. So I kind of want to go back to talking about this book, The Alchemy of Voice. It's by Stuart Pearce, and he's a really interesting guy. I've had this book for a couple months, just waiting. I have a lot of books just stacked up that I'm always reading, trying to get everything out of. And so I've been excited to read this. It's been in a pile, and I was just finishing up some other books. So the main thing that I was really hoping to get from this book was to release this ever-present tightness that I have in my throat. It's come up in almost every reading that I've had. Also, in that psychic Reiki reading I talked about very early on in my first episode, I'm pretty certain, came up there too, and it's like a frog in my throat almost. It's just so tight, and it hurts. It's just a lot of energy there. And I don't know if that has anything to do with the fact that I have a tongue tie. When I was born, very few people even knew what tongue ties were. So I never got it corrected. And instead, I just went through speech therapy and such. But the tongue is such an important muscle. And my tongue doesn't, it doesn't have the full range of motion, I guess. And so it's almost like it's always compensating, you know? Maybe you don't know, but I didn't really learn about this till my son was born. He had a tongue tie and a lip tie and a little bit of a cheek tie, and we got those corrected right away. And you know, our midwife was explaining this to us, and then also the pediatric dentist who performed the laser incisions to release the ties also explained how important it is that these tongue ties get resolved. So anyway, went off a little bit on a tangent there, but I don't know if maybe my tongue tie is related to the tightness in my throat. It could be part of it. And then of course, years and years and years of trying not to be vulnerable, stifling my emotions when I'm with other people, to the point where it became so habitual, I just stifle my emotions all the time. Less so now, you know, I've been very conscious and conscientious about this and working on this, but, you know, I think all of this kind of ties into the throat chakra. Anyway, so I've been hoping that out of this book, I can resolve that. And it would give me the tools to do so. And at the same time, it would also help me with my voice to really find my true note so that when I speak, I am just vibrating my entire beingness into everything that I say. And I'm reading after these exercises, and of course the assumption in the book is, okay, you got it, you did it, you succeeded, and so now let's read a success story about someone else who did this and how their lives were just completely turned around for the better. So, you know, that's kind of the formula for these sorts of books, and that's fine, it's whatever, but I am not succeeding in these exercises. And it's kind of, not kind of, it's very frustrating. It's kind of heart-wrenching, but very frustrating because I so badly want to reap the benefits. I so badly want to change. And I'm not finding my true note. I'm not having that energetic release that I feel like has been promised. So that's kind of where I'm at with this book. You know, this man, Stuart Pearce, he's brilliant. I've listened to several interviews with him, and I know that Princess Diana had worked with him, and that's why she had such a beautiful speaking voice, even though she was shy and wasn't much one for public speaking. So, you know, it was with that I was so excited. And I don't think this is his fault. I think this is another example of how I seem to struggle sometimes with things that come so easily to, it seems like, to everybody else. And so this might be a book that I reread. Maybe I'll put it down and come back to it in a month or two and try again, maybe try some other exercises or something for my throat. And honestly, if you know any technique or anything, I'm open to anything. If you have any suggestions for how to work with my throat chakra, I'm really, really interested and really open to it, because I don't really want to remain like this in my state with such a tight throat. That's something else. If you have any sort of idea or insight, please do reach out to me with that. And it's the same email, hellolife@esoterics.com. Sorry. Hello Life at esoterics@gmail.com. That's